Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is Grand Arena, the final match of Season 48. And this match, we are going for 3-0, and I think we have a solid chance. Now, I am recording this after the fact. I just captured the footage of this one, didn't record any live audio, and because of that, I know how this is going to go, but I still think it's a good match here. We're just going to jump into things, though, because I didn't grab any footage of the bracket prior to this. He is an 8 GL player. This was a strong bracket. He had good mods, good information, but I'm not going to go back and try and collect that information because I don't have a good way to present it after the fact. And no recap of the previous round because that opponent only did 2 attacks. He didn't win any. It was a default win on my part. So we're just going to jump into this match up against Blind Worm here, and his mods will do our count. And organizing here by speed, this opponent has a little bit of an advantage on me. I forget exactly what my count is, but he's at 38 characters modded above 300 speed. And Kyle Katarn is the last one. Captain Rex was the one that I was looking out for, and Kyle Katarn is the one who is the highest one. Rex is at like 299 or something. Now looking at my opponent's defense, he attacked first, cleared the front territory. He's not done though. He did take 2 attempts up against Third Sister, and then in the back territory, at this point of the match, he had made an attempt on Treya and taken out the other team. Top territory, we see that he has not made any attempts yet, but there's 2 hours left. And as I go through my attacks, we're going to see him come alive. And it's going to get pretty intense throughout here. Now, his defense, we are looking at Starkiller, Rey, Zori, and Leia with the Drogon Kron, but a weaker comp. It's got Baze in there, not the Han Chewie versions, not some of the other versions. Now, got Jabba, Qui-Gon, Lord Vader. We're going to start with Lord Vader because we have a standard counter to that, and we're going to be using Aphra. Aphra plus the Aphra Kron. Even without the Aphra Kron, Aphra would be winning this match, has a good chance at winning the match. And if it doesn't work, I bring Fennec in to clean it up. Not a problem either way. We need to jump to the large screen here. Now, with the footage, just jump in, start boosting our potency mastery. Bring out our droid friend. He does have Third Sister. Third Sister does make this a little bit harder. No, we AoE, land a shock over on Royal Guard. We're going to hit Third Sister. We have to take her out 3 times, so it is a bit of work. I'm going to start with her and land Torture over there, and hopefully that makes it so I get through Third Sister a little bit more quickly, really just relying on AoEs to do the work on the other characters. So we're going to start spreading dots. I don't know why I started with... Oh, I started with Maul because he has Retribution. I didn't want him to counter. And then Royal Guard, Vader. Now dropping more dots. But we're not landing any. There might be something in the kits that doesn't allow me to land dots. Now considering this, it's early enough where I think it makes sense to use it because we get a little bit of turn meter, we get the assist, and we're not at risk of losing anybody at this stage. We're going to land an armor shred on Third Sister and just hit her a couple times. Maul goes active, takes out a few characters. To be expected. That's what Third Sister adds to this match, is just prevents you from taking out Maul in the way that you would like. Now we have AoEs that'll knock out Third Sister once. We have to take her out twice more. We're going to bring our droid friend back. We get a little bit of protection recovery, but I didn't bring this up most of the time, but we have no way to cleanse the dots. That's the one weakness here. And that if we ever see a dark side droid bring any cleanse here, that's going to be pretty powerful. Royal Guard we can take out quickly. I think I want to figure out where to make progress. We're going to put Torture on Third Sister whenever we have a chance, but Royal Guard is at least somebody that we can take out without a ton of effort. So, which is why I threw a couple attacks over on him. Added another armor shred to Third Sister. saving the revive because we're about to lose IG-88. And now you can see that Maul is almost gone and AoE ought to do it. And now Maul's gone. We'll get another AoE. Take out Vader or close to it. Vader's gone. This will knock out Third Sister. No, not quite. That'll take her out a second time. And at this point, it doesn't really matter who I focus on, but we'll take out Royal Guard quickly. Hit Third Sister. Still got more than a minute and a half. And knock her out, and now we just got Vader. And now he's gone. Jabba is the next one. Jabba's going to be easier to deal with because we got a GL to handle this counter, and it's a pretty strong counter. Bringing up Scoundrel Crons. There's a Revive Cron that I like here. Or an anti-Revive Cron. Which means we can make quick work out of Curzanton and then focus on whoever we want. So we reset cooldowns on Cat. I don't know what I'm contemplating here. Let them take their turns. They're doing a lot of damage. Curzanton's eliminated. Now we're going to focus on Bosch because Bosch is the major threat here. We are going to put Cat under stealth. Because we can't get assists, I'm charging up JMK. JMK's alt. Hit Bosch. Basic. A lot of thermals now on Kenobi. I'm not sure what I'm thinking there. I think I should have just tripped the ultimate. And I do it now. Definitely should have done it sooner. Now we're in a pretty rough position. Fortunately, Rancor goes after JMK. We reset cooldowns. We can at least take out Bosch without any issue. But now we're in a pretty poor position to take out both Embo and Lando. We're definitely setting myself up for multiple attempts into cleaning up the Jabba. Depending on how I want to play it. And the damage immunity there. If we had Ahsoka to get rid of the damage immunity, this would all be different. Yeah, throw an armor shred. I'm just kind of being indecisive at this point because there's nothing that we can do about it. Embo heals up real quick, so I'm going to go after Lando. But their offense is stacked too much at this point. But we're in a place where I can clean that up without major issue. Not ideal, but we're not in a problem situation. Now with these next, I'm going to speed up the footage here. Because I'm now remembering that when I do these playbacks, I usually speed it up. Now, up against Starkiller, we got a standard counter with General Grievous. When you have a counter that is that cheap, this cheap, you use it. Now with this one, bringing in BB-8 is pretty important, but I have a Gear 12 BB-8. Not ideal, but it still works fine. It just means it's going to be a lower banner counter. Palp first. Now we work on Veers. She'll be gone in a moment. Now we have options. I'm going to go after Starkiller. He's not going to take a lot of attempts, but he's the win condition. And now they can't win. And you can see that maybe if I had a Relic BB-8, this would have been closer to full banners. Or at least we would have had full health. Now with Rey, another one with a standard counter. That's why we're doing these matches. We're going to bring in our Starkiller. We're just trying to handle the matches where there's only one way that I can beat it. Before we start making decisions, those tougher decisions about if I use a counter up against Jabba, is that going to be limiting my options down the line? I'm trying to make a decision. Like the Veers Kron, it's okay. It's not really that good. So I'm trying, the stacking offense is something I'm considering. Because even though I'm only going to get the level 3, or I guess I'll get the level 6 ability too. No, just the level 3 ability. It's not enough. Or it might be enough. I just ultimately go with the Veers one just because it offers a little bit more. Arguably. Now we're stuck behind a taunt. We trigger the damage immunity quickly. Now we're hitting Rey. That's where Shatterpoint landed. Now we gotta just wait until the damage immunity comes off before we can do anything else. That is what Hondo offers. And it's why it's important to get shock onto her. Now we get some stuns in. We gotta reapply the shock. We get our assists. We are going to dispel the crit hit immunity from Swolo, hit the inspired on Rey, trigger her damage immunity. Now we're focused on Swolo, trigger that one. You can see we're triggering these pretty quick. Holdo's out now. Swordy's an annoying one, but it's who we need to go after. Now we can't do much. We're going to just get rid of some of the inspired. Get rid of buffs where we can. We're at 93 stacks of Unleashed. And now we are at Unleashed. Gotta wait to use it. They do their big hit, and now we get to work. We've taken out Rey. Swolo will just manage. Big bada boom. Now we have the annoyance of this. Blow up Rey. You just gotta wait until that damage immunity comes off. I'm just landing a shock so that when the damage immunity comes off, we don't have to deal with the foresight as much. Now we move on to Leia, where we have Jabba. Now the big thing to keep in mind here is I don't have the right level 6 ability on the Boschkron. I wasn't able to get it to roll until we were after the lock-in. I do have it now. We will have it for week 2. But this week we are working with one hand behind our back with this Leia counter. Although we do have the damage immunity for... we have one that will work on just Bosch, which does help. Now just doing the slow work of getting through this. Just staying focused on to Leia. We do the AoE early with Bosch to work towards the contract. We're just working towards the payout and working towards the Rancor ultimate. There's the damage immunity triggered onto Bosch, which we definitely needed, but it ultimately doesn't make a huge difference. I guess it does buy time. It does mean that it's a little bit easier to get the Rancor. Now we are going to throw... I guess we had to throw Disarmed over onto Baze. I didn't see the taunt with all the buffs around, but now we can take out Drogon. And now we've got 3 minutes to see if we can take out R2. Which would be a huge help, because R2 would still make this be a huge pain. Now we're at 24%. Chrysanthemum's down. And at this point, it is very unlikely that we take out R2, and we don't. So we go back in, now we got JML. And this is why I designated my JML for Leia, and that's also why I did Leia this early into the match, because now it determines, like, do I use my JML up against a Malgus or a Treya or whoever else that may or may not be on defense. Now I know I can't. Got to use JML up against Leia. Which isn't even great, but what it at a minimum might do... I can do it. Am I not going to do it? Okay. I'm calling in the assists to get a lot of dispels. I'm going to throw Armor Shred over onto Leia. We'll land a stun. We got Master's Training onto Cal. Everybody's got days. Doing a little bit of work. I think I'm being way too distracted with the abilities and not being focused enough onto getting Master's Training. I think there would have been a lot more benefit to working on Master's Training. I'm kind of ignoring R2 because I plan on taking R2 out with Cal Kestis. So doing damage onto R2 doesn't really matter. Now I've got my 30 stacks of Impetuous Assault. Managing buffs on other characters. And now, not quite now, so now we can take out R2. But I really should have Master's Training by now. But I just managing the other abilities probably too much. No, we have it now. And we're about to trigger it. When we get Retribution up, get the little bit of Protection up, trigger the Master's Training. Now if I can take out Baze, this would be great. But for some reason I'm focused onto Leia, which is a mistake. And right there, I don't think it would have made any difference. I think we probably would have been working on Baze while that attack happened. Okay, Baze goes down. Maybe we would have been able to take out Old Ben had I played this a little bit differently, but this is all a little bit newer. We're still fine-tuning a few things. And now we've lost our friend Cal, which hurts a lot because he does a lot of work in keeping everybody alive. But we're going to time out. Although, I think had I played that a little bit differently, there was a way to get rid of Old Ben during the clock. Now, Finn, are we going to do it now? Or are we doing it later? We're probably going to do it later. We need to clear the lower territory, see where we're at, and what teams are on the back wall. Because there's situations like this. Do I use Night Sisters here, or do I use Night Sisters up against that Finn Zori? And I'm going to use Night Sisters here, and I don't even think it's the right call. I think it's the wrong call. I don't remember how this went. I just think there was other ways I could have managed it. Or maybe this goes terribly. Okay, so working on hitting Embo. I think I should have just stayed more focused onto Embo. But I saw, okay, no, we're fine. The instincts were right. We had just had so many stacks of Plague onto Embo that I moved off, started working on Skiff Lando. So I want to just call him Screech, but I always forget. Because Screech is the name of the character in the movie. Or who Lando's impersonating. Now we hit Lando a few times. I don't remember how this went. Right now I'm working on the stacking damage. And that is a little scary. But we had the right buffs up at the right times. Yeah, so this doesn't feel like it's going great because of he's recovering so quickly now. I think there probably was a situation where maybe I should have taken him out before he got the double tap. And had I made him an earlier focus, maybe we would have had a better shot. But you can see that every single turn that he takes, or I guess nearly every turn he takes, he fully heals, gets rid of all the plague, and we can't do anything. We're not landing stun on him, so he's becoming a pretty difficult character to manage, and we're getting closer and closer to timing out. And we're under risk of losing Daka. And now we do. Now we can't win. So next time I will be prioritizing Screech first. Because that's pretty costly right there, that kind of situation. Now I need to make a decision of how I'm going to weaken Jabba, because what I ultimately want to do is to just bring in Mon Mothma to clean it up cheaply. And I don't want to use a good team to take out Lando. But you can already see we don't have any buffs on these characters, which means we are having a much slower path to working on the contract. And he's taking a lot of turns really quickly. This was a mistake. I should have basicked, hit the thermal, then had another turn. We're at 50% now, and now we can't win, and we should just forfeit. Yeah. So, terrible. Terrible. And now I decide I'm not going to mess around. I think I just use Maul. That's what I remember doing. Because I didn't really have another plan for Maul. Maybe it takes me a minute to get to there, but I'm pretty sure that's where I ended up. But I try to be careful because I don't know what I'm going to need when. But Sith Eternal Emperor is our best option up against Malgus, so we're just going to take out Malgus. I only really care about the level 3 ability here, but I'm just kind of looking at some of these other ones that don't really matter. There's also the stats. The stats do help. We're going to link up Malgus and Fallen. Everybody here is just bodies to eat up some clock. We're fracturing Malik so he can't put as much fear on everybody. I want everyone else to at least take their turns. Now Royal Guard is down. We're going to hit... Okay, I guess we're hitting Fallen. Ultimate's charged. We will trip it. Blow up Malgus and Fallen. I guess in a moment we will blow them up. Now just land our shock. Revan is who I consider to be the bigger threat. Okay. Yeah, and we've hit auto, and we're just working through it. Okay. Next up was what? Something. Oh yeah, Qui-Gon. Yeah, so Qui-Gon, what I've been doing is Kelleran. Just because with Leia these days, I can't use Jedi Knight Revan. My Bad Batch aren't good enough to do it reliably. And that limits a lot of my options. I really like what Kelleran adds to this match. So we take out his Qui-Gon, they're distracted, and I am now free to do whatever I want. Kelleran adds this nice mass assist, which takes out somebody quick. Foresight's going to be spreading everywhere. We went for Ki-Adi-Mundi because we didn't have the taunt on Kenobi, and I know that ability hits through Foresight. Kenobi's gone, Anakin's gone. Boom. Easy. Now with Jabba, this is where I ultimately land on Maul. Yeah, so here, let me just skip ahead. I don't know how long it takes me to make a decision. Apparently a while. Alright, with Maul, I'm going to the light side with the stacking because we at least have 3 characters, although I don't think they get a lot of buffs. So I don't really actually think it's going to help that much. But Armor Shred, quick assists. We're going to take care of Lando quickly. 4 stacks of Anguish is going to be enough. We go into adding more stacks rather than attacking, because attacking is not really going to matter. Getting more restocked on Anguish is going to have a bigger impact. Now we're back to 5. Throw Beskar over onto Maul. We don't land vulnerable. And now we'll unleash and see how far we get with Jabba. But this is an effective cleanup. So we will be fine. Just what I didn't want to do, the reason I didn't want to use this is I wanted to do some Maul testing. Like I wanted to try out Super Commando and Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, and I don't really get that opportunity here. We did, I don't know if we did any testing with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon this week. I already forgot. It's just in the matches that we had this week, it didn't look good for that kind of testing. Yeah, we work our way through Jabba. We'll throw damage immunity over there. We land vulnerable this time. Throw Beskar over onto Bam because he's taunting, and we just want to make his life a little bit easier. Vulnerable again. Armor shred, and we got Maul ready to unleash. And then I'll do it. So now that brings us to the back wall, and we've still been pretty efficient. Jabba took a few attempts, but everything else has been working out the way that we've planned. And if a GL takes a little bit of work, that's fine. That's understandable, especially when you're punching up like I am and don't have the assets of a lot of your opponents. Things don't always stay super clean. Like, that's the reality of punching up. Now, with Wampa, this is easy stuff. Everybody knows this one. You just got to manage it a little bit. Although my managing it, I believe I miss an opportunity to take out Kara early. She probably would have been revived. But I think what's going to happen at one point is there's going to be an opportunity to take her out when she doesn't have potency up. And I think I miss it. That's not it. She's got potency up there. Maybe I just thought I did in the moment. Or maybe it's a different match. But this is a well-modded team. Like, it does not look good for my Wamp. But this is why I say it's so important to have your Wampa at Relic 7. Like, I had a Relic 5 Wampa here, I don't know if I win this. Like, that looked pretty bad. Relic 3, I think I definitely lose this one. Like, this was an exceptionally well-modded Mon Mothma team with really strong relics. Now, we're going to have an annoying situation now to manage with Cara Dune, but we will be able to take out everybody else. We're just going to keep roaring, because roaring might mean AoEs can take out Mon Mothma at least. But there we go. We got our opportunity. Cara Dune's down. Now we got Grand Inquisitor and Tuskens to deal with. But up top we have Finn, Zori, and Leia. And we are going to use gas here, and this turns out to be great. And probably I'm going to want to clean up Leia's moving forward. I haven't found a lot of great Leia cleanups. Gas seems to be one of the better ones. But I haven't tested everything either. Like, maybe Maul would have been perfectly fine too. But I know, for instance, like, Wampa does not work. There goes old Ben. And we're making pretty quick work of things here. Through the protection, we're getting through that very quickly. I believe I used a stacking offense. Did I use a stacking offense crown? Well, I guess we're not really having a lot of buffs, so that doesn't really matter. Because we need to have at least 2. Even the tenacity up from Rex would only be 1. And I guess that's definitely the crown that we have, because the only other one I would have is the basic with the crit chance up, the offense up, all that stuff, and we're not getting any of those buffs, so that's definitely not what's going on. I don't know what I'm considering. I think it just... Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I got distracted with work for a moment. I had a phone call or something, and then I paused. Okay. Imperial Troopers, this is a strong counter. As long as you've got good mods. Maybe I should have gone with the AoE to start. Because then if with the Piet's ability we would have landed fear on everybody. I don't think it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to think through of other things that we could have done here to play it better. Poe's not really a concern of mine, so I'm ignoring him. We got the damage immunities triggered. AoE to hit Finn Zori. Throw a shred onto Finn. I probably should be attacking Poe, because those counterattacks do mean that Finn is gaining stats. And there we go. So that's cleared up. Now we've got these 2 teams down here to deal with. Maybe my opponent doesn't attack me further. Maybe that's next week. I might be thinking of a different match. Alright, this... We blow him up. Maybe I should have taken out Chieftain, though. I think next time we'll have to try it with Chieftain. Like, Warrior's a major threat. But because we don't have R2 to keep Swolo and Rey alive and going the way that I want, maybe it would have been more important to take out Chieftain. I should probably just remind myself what the unique does versus the leadership. Because the unique would go away if Chieftain's gone, not the leadership. But we lose Swolo to dots. This is what we lose without R2. Although, you know, maybe if I had somebody who can cleanse. If I had somebody who could cleanse those dots, that would have helped out a lot. Alright, we're going to do Phoenix up against Grand Inquisitor. And this is going to crush. Like, Phoenix are going to beat... Or... It's not reliable. They can beat Third Sister. So without Third Sister present, this should be fine. Although every time we get to, not every time, but the first time we get to 6 stacks of Purge, that is going to allow Grand Inquisitor to get a turn. We're favoring the stagger over the armor shred. Grand Inquisitor goes down. 7th Sister is the next threat. And then 5th, and then I don't care about 2nd at all. I don't think 2nd should be on the team. Oh, I guess 3rd is because 3rd sister. Even though with 3rd sister with Lord Vader, like 8th brother would have been better. Was 8th brother not here? No, 8th brother would still be better. Like I know 2nd sister is probably who they added the extra relic levels for territory battles, but no. Alright, now we're going to do Leia. I can't field a full team of Imperial remnants. Do I still do it? Yeah, I don't. What do I... oh. Yeah, this isn't a bad idea. Smugglers get Hondo. They'll be able to stun a little bit, but they don't have a ton of damage. They're going to be slow enough that Hondo's going to be able to get supercharged. And then they're not going to be able to take him out. I wonder if this would have been worth trying in a first attempt. Probably. It's not like a super high banner thing. Hondo's a character I'd like to take to higher relics. It's just he's firmly a luxury for me at this point. Like I'm not going to take him to like relic 8 or 9 when like I don't have JML at relic 9 or Leia at relic 9. My cat's not even at relic 7, so definitely wouldn't make those choices. Everybody else is supposed to die because now there's a major stat increase onto Hondo. I'm going to hit the characters with less than 10 momentum so I don't get stunned. But as our stacks of ransom increase, we're going to get closer and closer to being able to one-shot. We will capture Chieftain. Aurora's down. Shaman. Protection's gone. Now Shaman's down, and now we can do the same to Chieftain. Yep. I could have just done basics, but... that threat is eliminated. Now we will take a look. Did he do anything? It looks like he did do an attack. Or was that team already gone? I think he did one attack. Now we just got fleet, and it's a fairly easy fleet. Only one of them is an actual threat with Executor. So that gets the Profundity. Focus down onto Bosk. Yeah, we'll do our mass assist onto Mando because Houndstooth can't gain bonus turn meter with the Profundity. We got through a few of the stacks. I don't land whatever that's called. None of this matters. This is just a very safe counter. Things would have to go very poorly for there to be issues. Make sure to keep the Outrider alive, so put under stealth. Hit Cat a few times. They aren't doing damage, and we aren't making the progress I would have liked to have made by now. That's going poorly, but we hit the alt. We bring out the ghost. Make sure slave 1 goes down. And when Ghost takes its turn, we will be able to do an AoE, which will take out these. It's a little sloppier, but it's fine. Now we just got to make decisions, and what I'm going to want to use up against Raddus is a ship that can do some Dispel, which means Empire. Because with Empire, we've got options like with the TIE Advance, with the TIE Bomber, ships that can manage the deflector shield from the Raddus fleet, which is going to really negate a lot what they can do. Plus, the TIE Interceptor is also going to be able to dispel when it enters as a reinforcement. And that just means the Raddus will not be able to get to the ultimate. So we clear a bunch of deflector shield. We're going to want to take out the MG100 first because it's annoying. Deflector shield has been now dispelled twice. So they're wasting their specials when they take their turn because that's how it affects the cooldown on the Raddus ultimate. MG100 is gone. Now we can just start doing some damage. And there we go. And this is going to be easy too. Marauder is just going to be a strong counter to this. And after we reach the end of this footage, we will do a recap of what my opponent did with his attacks. It's going to be a little anticlimactic though. This was a strong 3-0 week for me. And to get that in Kyber 2 these days, that is pretty rare. Pretty happy about it. We have had 2 recent 3-0 weeks. We had one, I think, to end 3v3. It happened during the 3v3 season. Maybe it was the first week of 3v3. I think it was the first week of 3v3 is when we got it. Yeah, but with a half hour left, this is where my opponent is going to leave it. And here, my opponent uses gas up against Malgus. Trade, third sister, made some progress. That's a good result. He cleans up with Phoenix. That's an expensive cleanup. Not how I would have played it. Aphra to take out CLS. That works, but as you can see, that's risky. I don't like to do that. Because if CLS or if they take out Aphra early, it's over. That's something that maybe if there was a pre-taunt, I would consider, but it's risky. It is really not without risk. Sith Eternal Emperor. Yeah, that's a hard counter up against Malicos. Bad Batch taking out Trench. Jedi Knight Revan, Raddus, and then you can see Leia. You know, that's not terrible. Like, Malicos taking out anybody is great. Well, he does have this Kron, which probably made a huge difference. But you can see if he had, like, SLKR or Jabba to take out my Leia at this stage of things, then that could have been interesting, but he just didn't have the counters that he needed. Or in the case of the SLKR one, just might not be familiar that it's an option. It's definitely something that he should have tried, even without Malicos. But that was a strong way to start the 5v5 season. And going 3-0 is rare in Kyber 2 these days, so especially with my roster, like being in a bracket of almost all 8 GL players and finding a way to punch through, that's pretty fantastic. It does mean, though, next week is going to be rough, because the banner total that we start next week out with, we're basically a win away from Kyber 1, like less than 30 banners away from Kyber 1. And in that kind of scenario, that means we're basically fighting Kyber 1 rosters, and it's going to be rough going. But we'll wrap it up there. We'll look at those videos soon. Be excellent to each other, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.